Number 2, Tomorrow Joe.
Tomorrow Joe. Now, this is again probably a curveball for some of you people because it hasn't really hit the States at all. But this is a very important manga and anime series during its time. I mean, really important. As in, during the student protest in Japan, the Japanese college students would walk around with a copy of Marxism and a copy of Tomorrow Joe in the other hand. Yeah. This character was very popular and very influential in Japanese culture. In fact, when the main character accidentally kills his rival in a boxing match, they were actually people who held funerals for the rival. And, just to give you an idea what the series is about, Tomorrow Joe is about a young and upcoming boxer named Joe, who pretty much lives in the slums of Japan, and through his boxing and whatnot, he rises himself up and brings a lot of hope to the underdogs and whatnot. And what's even more interesting about the series is actually the end, and this is probably going to be a spoiler for a lot of you who haven't seen it. After a fight where the last fight that Joe's in, he loses and he slumps back down in his ring, and that's it. There's a lot of controversy around this, wondering if Joe died, did he give up, or what. It's really people just really wonder about this series, and I really like that about it. It keeps you guessing.
Number 1, Gengen no Kitaro.
Gengen no Kitaro. Again, this is probably a curveball since it's only famous in Japan. And again, I didn't find out about this series until I went to Japan. Well, it's a shame really because this is one of the most famous anime and manga characters of all time. The creator, Mizuki, was a World War II veteran who was left-handed and had his left hand blown off by a landmine while he was in the middle of a suicide charge. And that wasn't bad enough. Once he recovered and went back to Japan, he was hated by everybody. Pretty much they were saying that he should have died that right then and there, and since he's alive, he should go off and kill himself. So not only does everyone hate him, his dominant hand blown off, he has to reteach himself how to draw right-handed, and with only one hand. Now, this would again lead to one of the most famous characters in Japanese manga and anime history, Gengen no Kitaro. Kitaro is about a young boy who is the last of his kind of the monster race, and his interaction with humans and the spirit world. Now, something you have to know about Mizuki is that he is a very superstitious person, and honestly believes that many of these characters exist, except for Kitaro because he's, character that came out of his own head. But a lot of the other characters are based upon the Japanese ghosts and goblins. He truly believes that it exists. In fact, he will tell stories about while he was in Southeast Asia meeting one, a giant invisible wall that would stop people. But enough about his backstory. Kitaro is interesting because in the manga and one of the anime adaptations, he is not too friendly towards humans at first, because humans killed his mother and his father, and one gouged out his eye. He has some problems. So, yeah, and I watched this one anime that I don't know what year it was. I think it was 2000 something. I could be wrong. I know the most recent one I think was like 2006 or something like that. It's really kid friendly, but this is, don't watch that. Watch this other one. Um, it really explains Kitaro and follows the manga fairly well. Even to the fact that his dad's body deteriorating until it's only an eyeball and becoming kind of like his little sidekick, or his eyeball daddy, and he'll sometimes crawl into Kitaro's eye socket and become his other eye. That's just pretty awesome. Anyways, in one of the stories, the person that accidentally gouged out Kitaro's eye takes him as a foster family, and Kitaro keeps running out at night, and the guy wonders where he's going, and finally follows him to this gaping hole in the ground, which is an entrance to hell in Japanese mythology. Gets a ticket, goes down into hell, only to find out that it's a one-way ticket. And when Kitaro finds him, you know what he does? He laughs at him. Granted, Kitaro does help humans, but at the same time, he has this kind of weird relationship with them because, well, they kind of killed his entire race and his mom, and did a number on his dad. Anyways, it's a great series. I highly recommend Gengeki no Kitaro. Watch it sometime. And this is Omki Excalibur saying, take it easy, guys. If it's easy, take it twice. Later.